welcome back to another episode of House of Cards. Thank you so much for joining us. Today I am going to be revealing another PSA order that just received back. This is a very small order, only 4 cards total, so it shouldn't take very long, but these cards are specific to a certain kind of type of card, which is base rookie cards of GOATs. So I wanted to spend a little time just kind of analyzing the market of what these current cards are doing and sort of just seeing, what's the right move right now. Is it time to sell? Is it time to hold? And just kind of, getting my arms around sort of what to do with these cards, because these are good cards, but they aren't, super short print or any sort of parallels or anything special. So as we all know, base cards are very, volatile when it comes to the market right now, especially high population base cards. So we're going to look at everything. We're going to look at population counts. We're going to look at recent sales, and we're just going to kind of make some informed decisions based around that. So anyways, we will jump right into that. But before we do that, just wanted to give some quick house cleaning notes. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sweet if you would hit this button. Should pop up there. Or if you want to get notified when there's new videos that I drop and you have subscribed, hit the little bell icon down there. And then, of course, if you like the video at the end, a like will be very much appreciated. Okay, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump into this. And then once we get the cards out, we'll pull up market movers and we will kind of just give it a quick analysis of what the market has been up to for these cards. So again, bear with me because these PSA boxes are quite the undertaking to open. My address is on the other side, so try not to do that. Yeah, it's been pretty cool seeing a lot of these PSA orders coming back. It's nice. It's nice to finally see something after months and months of waiting. Sent these ones in. I'll pull up the. Actually, I'll put it on the screen here. My sent and arrival times. But a little side note on this was that they actually sent it to the wrong address twice. This package actually been rerouted to me 2 different times. So kind of crazy, but at least I got it, so that's good. All right, the brick. All right, wasn't too big of a Herculean effort. All right, let's see if we can get these out without seeing everything right out the gate. All right, we'll put these face down like that. Lovely. Okay, well, you can kind of see already from the back that this is going to be some basketball GOATs. So 2 players in particular. We got Kobe Bryant and Mr. LeBron James. So let's start here with the first card, and this will be our first analysis. Wham bam. All right. Well, that is one heck of a way to start. I can't really ask for much better than that. So we got your basic 1996 Topps base number 138 Kobe Bryant card. So classic, beautiful, nothing really to talk about on this one other than that this is just, a great card all around. Of course, this is base card, so there's quite a few out there. So let's go ahead and pull up good old market movers here. All right, so we are in market movers, and I created a few saved searches because I knew these were the cards I was getting back, so I wanted to have sort of these readily available to look at. So let's start here with the Kobe Bryant right here, Topps base. Okay, and this is in PSA 10. All right, so here we go. So let's just make sure everything's right. Kobe Bryant, 96 Topps base, PSA 10. All right, so it's going to show all buy it now and auctions and best offers. So as you can see, this card has been on a kind of a downward spiral here. So if you look at earlier, so this chart here is from March, which we all know that was a huge spike in the sports cards world during that time. So all the GOATs, Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, so on and so forth were going nuts during this time. And of course, I wish I had the card back during this period of time, but you know, it is what it is. So back in March here, I mean, this card was peaking at, I mean, look at that. It's almost $7,000. Now, let's be respectful, guys. I think that's high. Like, be real with you. Like, for a base card, and let's look at here. The population is 3,109 PSA 10s. So while that's not like Luca high, right, it's still pretty significant. So I don't know. I kind of feel like this card is like, in my opinion, like a 4,000, 5,000 tops, you know, like kind of in that ballpark. 7,000 feels way too high for a base card. But anyways, that's just me. I'm not trying to like talk my value of my card down, but I'm also trying to kind of look at things in perspective in terms of what's realistic. And you know, a card with this high pop that's very, you know, readily available should definitely, you know, not be astronomically high. Okay, so anyways, there's been some sales down to 5,000s, but if you look here, starting in May, which is when all of a sudden things started kind of spiraling down a little bit, now the price is starting to go down real steady here, and then a real swift drop over the last couple of weeks. So I think around this time you're probably seeing Kobe's Hall of Fame. I forget the exact date, but sometime in here. So Hall of Fame was keeping the price above 5,000. Then boom, right after, now we're down into the like $3,000 range here. So the question now is what to do with this card, right? So they sell like crazy. There's definitely no shortage of sales that happen for this card. You know, I mean, this card is sold 221 times over, you know, this 3-month period here, less than 3 months. So that, I mean, you do the math, that's about 70 something odd per month, which means, you know, it's a couple per day sales. So they're very, very liquid. Obviously the most recent sale is down in the high 2,000s. Last 14 days has been around 3,000. You know, the average over the last 3 months has been about 5,000, and the highs, you know, being almost 8,000. That's crazy. So anyways, I do think, you know, somewhere around the 5,000 range is probably where I would love to be with this card. So I don't really have any reason to need to sell this right now. Like, you know, all of Kobe's kind of big moments have passed already, so there's nothing crazy that's going to be happening. You know, there's going to be a documentary, I'm assuming, and all that kind of stuff. So at any rate, I think this is a hold for now, in my opinion. I don't think this is the right time to sell this Kobe rookie. Maybe the documentary, maybe there'll be some sort of a moment, something happens with Kobe. I don't know. Maybe they'll end up changing the NBA logo or something. There could be something. But anyways, Kobe will forever be a GOAT, and he'll forever be collectible, very, very collectible. So I don't have any issue with this card moving forward as far as, like, you know, liquidity of it. But just as far as right this second, I'm going to hold on to it. All right. Next, we got another Kobe. So let's see what we got on this, guys. And this is the Bowman Best. Wow, another 10. Look at that. That's awesome. Yeah, this card is beautiful. I've always loved this card. And when I got this card, and I bought it raw, sent it in. All these cards that you're looking at, guys, I got raw from eBay. So don't let people tell you there's not good cards on eBay. You just got to spend the time and do the you know, hours of painstaking going through listings and zooming in on cards and stuff like that to get the actual you know, best condition cards out there. So super excited to have this beautiful chrome Bowman Best card. So let's look at this card up here. All right, so let's go back to save searches. Okay, so Bowman Best, there it is. All right, so here we go. So this is the PSA 10 Bowman's Best. So again, same period of time, March to June. So it actually stayed pretty flat during that crazy March period. I mean, it did spike right here up to 4,000, but for the most part, it's been pretty chill. And then it has been dipping here ever since the same time period, about mid-May. A little comeback here. So let's look at kind of what the averages look like. So 24 of these have sold. So again, not as liquid as the tops, obviously. There's also a lot less of these. Let's look at the population. It's only 1,200. So, you know, almost, you know, just slightly less than a third of these than the tops. So I like it about that is you got, you know, less, which is good. You know, less population is good. So 1,200 PSA 10s is a pretty nice number. So obviously the change has been pretty bad. The average sale, was about 3,200 over the course of those 3 months. And then your 14 days and most recent have been around, 2,300 ballpark. So again, 2,300, I could sell it today, probably get that much. I don't know. I think this card is probably about a $3,000 card. It feels kind of fair to me just based on how low the pops are. And, it is a beautiful card. Honestly, I think it's a little bit more attractive than the Topps base because it is chromium and, it just, I don't know, just everything about it just looks cool. But, so yeah, so I guess my, overall decision on this would be, again, anything PSA 10 Kobe I think is a hold until some prices, and again, I don't think they're ever going to get back to those February, March prices like anytime soon. I mean, could in the future with, slow, steady growth, but I do think we'll see a little bit of a recovery on some of these GOAT cards in, over the next 6 months to 12 months, just because I think that, they had that high and now they're kind of hitting their low and then they're going to kind of settle in somewhere in between. So anyways, great card to have. I'm going to hold on to that too. Okay, we got another Kobe Bryant coming up here, so let's take a look at what we got here. And this is the Topps Finest with the coating on it. All right, there it is. So got a mint 9, which is actually pretty good for this card. Super hard to get mint just because the coating is always a challenge because it gets really scratched up and messed up. But the coating is preferred by collectors because it is harder to keep sort of, the integrity of the card with the coating also on there, because most of the time the coating would get scratches and stuff on it because people just, treated it like it was coated so it was protected. But in this case, it's, really, really hard to get it without it. Another nice thing is the words. So they have this kind of Topps protective, little wording going across it here. It's always nice to have it so the words don't go over the player's face or any of like the major sort of parts of the card. So this one's really nice because Kobe's perfectly just outside of all the wording. So just another small thing to look for when you're looking at like coated cards and stuff is like the placement of the coating is also, or the words from the coating is kind of important too. So anyways, yeah, mint 9. I think that's a solid grade for this card. Just looking at it, it's a little off center top to bottom. Left to right looks good. I actually prefer left to right centering as more important than top to bottom, just because naturally your eye goes there first. And so I think for eye appeal, most people prefer left to right to be centered, and then top to bottom can be off, which again, grading wise, I don't think it makes much of a difference. They'll grade you the same, as long, within the tolerances. But I think just for the natural eye appeal that buyers would be interested in, I think the left to right's the one you want to make sure you have like spot on if possible. Okay, so let's go to safe searches here. Let's see here. Finest base with coating. That's on there twice. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so we got a PSA 9 here, which is this. So as you can see, again, this one is taking a little bit of a bath here recently, so we don't want to, get too crazy. So the population for the 9 is 4,300, which is pretty high. And I would assume that's because this card probably primarily gets 9s, and 10s are probably super low because of the fact the coating is next to impossible. So, okay, so PSA 9, let's see what the stats are looking like here. So definitely has gone down quite a bit over the last bit of time here. Has sold really, really well though, so almost as well as the Topps base. So that's good news. A very liquid card. So, as you can see, kind of it got to its highs right around here. Again, this is probably leading up to the documentary, which was somewhere in this ballpark. So it took a high of almost $1,000. That's pretty impressive. Hit it a couple more times here in around 900, 800, 700. So, now it currently being at, 400 basically. It feels a little low considering it was once up close to 1,000. I could see a fair price probably being closer to $500 to $600. If you see the average sales over the period was almost 700. Of course, those big sales were pulling that number up. Last 14 days was, over 400. So I think 500 to 600 is a fair kind of ballpark for this card. I don't see why it would be any lower than that. This is a good card, hard to get, in good grades. So I could see this being definitely a $500 to $600 card. So we'll see. I mean, if the right offer came across, I would probably sell it, but I definitely am not like trying, not gonna be like actively putting it up on eBay, but I think this could be a good trade bait. A lot of people, interested in these kind of cards for trades. So if you wanted to get into something else, and maybe put this one aside, maybe get a 10 later on, I think this would be good for that. So that's probably what I'll end up doing, using this for some sort of a trade, and seeing where I can get with it. Okay. Last but definitely not least is our boy Lebron. Unfortunately, just got exited early from the playoffs, so I'm sure that's gonna hurt his market a bit. But let's see what we got here. All right, so got a PSA 9, and I kind of assumed that because I knew the centering on this was not great. It's pretty decent left to right. I would say it's probably within 60-40, but again, top to bottom, the top is a lot heavier than the bottom. It's probably more like 70-30 top to bottom, so I can see why I got the 9 because of that. But again, the left to right, as long as that looks a little bit better, to me, that's the part that matters. So all right, not mad. A 9 on this one. Honestly, I was expecting an 8, to be real with you. So let's see here. Let's go to our saved searches. And let's see here, LeBron base 2003 tops. Okay, all right, there we go. So there's been definitely a downward trend, just like everything. Spiked back here in March, just like everything. So wow, I was going for 2,500. So the PSA 9, so it does have a population of 4,294, so very high pop card. But again, it's 2003. It's already kind of had its population spikes, so I don't see it getting much higher than that. And again, LeBron being the GOAT, definitely is going to always have a high liquidity to it. So this card most recent, kind of ballpark a month ago is about getting close to about 1,800, and then it's been slipping, really slipped. Came back, had a nice little recovery here, so looks like we're about 1256 ballpark right now. So if you look over the course of the 3 months that we were kind of playing in, so last 14 days about 1,300, most recent sales average 1,500, and then average over the 3 months 1,700. Of course, highs being 2,700. So I don't, if right now the average is about 1,500, I don't think that I need to, jump on anything right now. I think this could possibly hold and get back over 2,000. I mean, again, the high was 2,700. Your average over this period was about 1,700. So anywhere closer to 2,000, I think, 13 to 15 is too low for me. I would say probably, somewhere around the 17 up to 19. I think that's a nice landing spot for this. So again, with these cards, do you really need to sell it right now? No. Again, unless you have an opportunity to trade up for something, like, I don't know, I'd get out of it for some other GOAT. I wouldn't trade for any kind of speculative rookies or anything like that. At this exact moment, what I would trade, maybe I'd go into like a Mahomes Optic 9 or something like that. Something kind of in the same ballpark that I could probably, get a little bit more juice out of, and something that maybe is a little bit less on the pop count too. So look to something still in the GOAT territory, but something that's, a little bit more rare that I can, definitely probably see a better return on, because again, there are still some of these getting graded, just not a million, but there's definitely going to still be some. So again, this is already at 4,200, so I can see it as easily getting over 5,000 in the short term here. So I definitely think that there's a lot of possibilities to what to do with this card. Selling it for straight out cash probably doesn't really make too much sense at this moment. If it got closer to 2,000, then I probably would. But right now, I think using this as trade bait, maybe getting $1,600, $1,700 in trade is probably better move right now than liquidating this out for like $1,300, $1,400 in cash. So, anyways, that's kind of my idea with this guy. So there we are. All right. Well, that was fun. Had 4 awesome cards, 3 Kobe's, 1 LeBron. Definitely got lucky with the 50% gem rate, which again, I hear a lot of chatter about PSA is grading harder and da 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 da. And my last 2 orders I've gotten over 50% gem rate, and these were mostly modern cards at best, not too many ultra moderns. So, and again, these are all cards I purchased off of eBay, or I pack pulled and submitted them. So I do feel like the grading is fine. I don't think that there's a huge like weird, kind of shift in how grades are coming back. I just think that there's just so many things being graded, and it's just an odds game at this point. So I hope you guys don't get discouraged by grading your cards. I think it's a great way to make arbitrage on your sports cards, especially right now when the market is in kind of a weird fluctuation point. Even if the market dips 200, 300%, if you went from raw to graded, you're still going to be upright pretty good. Like, you're not obviously making the 15 times return that you might have back in February, March, but you're still going to be making probably like a 3 to 5 times return, which is still excellent. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. So hopefully your guys' graded cards are coming back too, and you're getting some awesome grades. And I'd love to hear in the comments sort of what your guys' thoughts are on some of your nicer cards and what you're planning on doing with them. Are you going to hold? Are you going to sell? Are you just going to keep buying and then hope for the market to stabilize and start recovering? But anyways, hit me in the comments below, and if you haven't yet subscribed, I would love for you to do that as well. And if you like this video, give it a like, a thumbs up, or a thumbs down if you hated it. I get it either way. I like feedback. So without any further ado, we will finish this one, and we will catch you on the next one. Until then, peace.